The human mind is complicated, but do you like to think of it as like a bucket that gets refilled for introverts in terms of energy, of um, social interaction that they're able to handle? Do you think of it like that as a bucket that gets emptied and needs to be refilled?
I think of it, yeah, more or less, because I use the metaphor of a battery that gets
Battery.
recharged or not. It's basically the same thing, different metaphor. But just to add on that there is a layer of complexity to that, because you could be somebody who doesn't want the kind of social life, let's say, where you have to be like on and presenting and interacting with tons of people all the time, but you'd get really lonely if you were just by yourself.
Hmm.
So what you want is to maybe be in the company of a couple people you know really well. Like for me, the pandemic was not actually that hard for me personally. I mean, I lost family, but I mean, from the point of view of what we're talking about, it wasn't that hard because I live with my husband and my kids. So I knew it was hard on the kids and I felt badly for them. But for me, I was like, you know what? I have a lot of social life right here in the house,
Hmm. That's how you
and I
know
can
you love
focus
your
and do my
husband.
work. Yeah, yeah.
That's the cool thing about the pandemic. I think it helped people figure out how much they love their family,
I think that's true.
and give you a chance to really reconnect with your kids, like really spend time with them. It's just fascinating to watch. Like people actually, it did strengthen the family unit in a often beautiful way, which just sucks to have to leave behind at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what people are not going to want to go back to, that we need to solve for, um, to the extent that work becomes non-remote again.
Yeah.
I think people have just realized how precious those aspects of their lives are. And, for somebody who's in a sort of conventional office job where you're going home and seeing your kids for an hour before bedtime, and that's your interaction with them, that's kind of a ridiculous way to set things up.
Yeah, it's cool that you can get, I think a lot of places give you the option now, which is interesting. You get to optimize that element of your life. Do you take the commute and the office work and then the social interaction there? Or do you focus on the work at home? It's also lonely at home, but then you get to see your kids if you have kids. That's part of the optimization, is like, I have some options now and I'm going to try to optimize solitude, loneliness, happiness, productivity, seeing family, seeing coworkers, the chemistry with the team building with the coworkers versus just the raw exchange of information with the coworkers. It's fascinating to see how that kind of evolves.
Yeah. And then there's the third space idea of, the spaces where you're in a co-working space or a cafe or something like that.
Oh
So you've
yeah,
got other people around you, but you're not exactly interacting with them, but they're very much there. And that's huge too. I don't think we think about that enough.
yeah, that energy is there.
Yeah. Yeah. I, I,
What
I
is that?
lived in Manhattan for 17 years before we had kids.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. Like I loved it. The feeling of all that energy all around you,
Hmm.
but you could be anonymous within it. To me, it was perfect.